Over 1.4 billion liters of gasoline are consumed every single day around the world. It fuels our cars, powers economies, and keeps entire nations moving. It takes about 2.5 liters of crude oil to produce just 1 liter of gasoline. To meet the global demand for fuel, around 100 million barrels of oil are produced every day. But how is this raw material turned into the gasoline we use daily? To understand the process, let's take a closer look at the United States, the world's largest producer and consumer of gasoline, and explore how oil is refined. It all starts with crude oil, a thick, dark liquid with a strong smell formed over millions of years from the remains of marine plants and microorganisms. These remains settled on the ocean floor and were buried under layers of sediment. Over time, heat and pressure transformed them into what we now call black gold, one of the world's most valuable energy sources. While crude oil may seem unappealing, it's extremely valuable to the energy industry. The first step in getting oil is to find it. Geologists use advanced methods like seismic surveys, which send sound waves underground to detect possible oil reserves. Once a deposit is located, drilling begins, sometimes going several kilometers deep. If there's enough natural pressure in the reservoir, the oil flows to the surface on its own. But as pressure decreases, pump systems like the familiar horsehead pumps are used to bring the oil up. In more challenging locations where the oil is thicker or trapped in tough rock formations, enhanced methods are needed. Techniques like injecting water, gas, or steam help push the oil toward the wells, making it easier to extract. These methods have been used for decades to make sure oil deposits are fully tapped. After extraction, the crude oil is transported to refineries where it undergoes complex processes to become usable fuels like gasoline. Depending on where it's extracted, crude oil is transported either through long overland pipelines or by large oil tankers that carry it across oceans. This marks the beginning of an important journey: the transformation of crude oil into the essential fuels and products we rely on every day. Once the crude oil arrives at a refinery, it begins the process of being converted into useful products like gasoline. In its natural form, crude oil is a complex mix of hydrocarbons, which need to be separated and processed to create efficient fuels. The first step in refining is fractional distillation, a process that separates the different components based on their boiling points. Crude oil is heated to temperatures above 370 degrees Celsius, turning it into a mix of vapors and liquids. This mixture is fed into a distillation tower, a tall column where the vapors rise and gradually cool. As the temperature drops inside the tower, different hydrocarbons condense at different levels. At the bottom, where it's hottest, heavy substances like asphalt and other residues settle. These require additional processing to be useful. In the middle, fuels like diesel and kerosene condense. These are used in cars, trucks, and airplanes. At the top, where it's cooler and lighter compounds like propane, butane, and raw gasoline are collected. However, the gasoline collected at this stage isn't yet ready for use. It contains hydrocarbons with low combustion quality and unstable properties. To improve its performance, it undergoes further processing. One key process is catalytic cracking. This involves breaking down large hydrocarbon molecules into smaller, more efficient ones using heat and special catalysts. The result is gasoline with a higher octane rating, which means it's more resistant to premature ignition inside an engine. This not only improves engine performance, but also helps reduce emissions. From here, crude oil is turned into many everyday products: fuels, lubricants, and even plastics. But gasoline still has a few more steps before it reaches your car. Before being distributed to gas stations, gasoline goes through strict quality control and treatment to ensure it meets high standards. These treatments help make gasoline cleaner, more efficient, and less harmful to the environment. One of the first treatments is desulfurization, which removes sulfur to produce a cleaner fuel. Then, additives are mixed in to enhance performance. These include octane boosters to prevent engine knocking and improve efficiency, detergents that clean engine parts like valves and fuel injectors, corrosion inhibitors that protect the fuel system from rust and wear, stabilizers that prevent gasoline from evaporating or degrading during storage. An important characteristic of gasoline is its octane rating, which shows how well it resists premature combustion in the engine. There are two main types: regular gasoline, 87 to 90 octane, used in older or lower compression engines; premium gasoline, 95 octane or higher, designed for modern engines that operate at higher pressures and temperatures. A higher octane rating doesn't mean more power, but it does ensure more stable and efficient combustion in advanced engines. Finally, gasoline is tested in specialized laboratories to ensure its quality. These tests check for stability, volatility, and purity, making sure the fuel burns properly and doesn't harm the engine. Only after passing these tests is gasoline ready to be transported through pipelines or tanker trucks to service stations, where it will be used by millions of drivers in their daily lives. This distribution process relies on a complex logistics network that spans long distances and follows strict safety protocols to prevent accidents. The first step in this journey is moving the gasoline from the refinery to regional storage terminals, where it is held before being delivered to local fuel stations. The secret to making perfect soft and crispy chicken lies in achieving the right balance between a juicy, crunchy, and golden outside. This balance makes each bite delicious and satisfying. As we continue, these advanced sorting and grading lines for peaches and apricots are revolutionizing the industry. These cutting-edge systems ensure precise classification and high-quality fruit. They carefully sort peaches and apricots based on size, color, ripeness, and defects using cameras, sensors, and automated controls. This process improves efficiency, reduces waste, and ensures only the best fruit reaches the market. The technology also allows for gentle handling, preventing damage during sorting. This factory produces thousands of chocolate brownies daily using advanced technology. Robotic arms swiftly move freshly baked brownies along the production line, ensuring precision and efficiency. Automated systems carefully sort and inspect each piece for quality. The packaging process follows seamlessly, with machines wrapping and sealing brownies for freshness. This high-tech operation guarantees consistent, delicious treats, ready to be enjoyed by chocolate lovers everywhere. And here we have a beverage factory. Cans are filled and packaged through a systematic process to ensure quality and freshness. Empty aluminum cans are cleaned and sterilized to remove any dust or impurities. They move along a conveyor belt to the filling station where machines pour in the drink. The amount of liquid is carefully measured to avoid spills or underfilling. Next, the cans are sealed with airtight lids to keep the drink fresh and prevent leaks. They then pass through a quality control check where machines or workers inspect them for any defects. After sealing, the cans move to the packaging stage. Expiration date are added. The cans are then packed into cartons or plastic-wrapped packs for easy transport. Finally, the packaged beverages are loaded onto trucks and sent to stores, ensuring they reach customers in perfect condition. Each year, the global cookie industry generates over $30 billion annually, with Americans alone consuming more than 2 billion cookies annually. But have you ever asked how these beloved treats are made in factory? Chocolate chip cookies are typically produced in factories in large quantities through an automated process. The journey begins in the ingredient preparation room, where experts ensure that all components are ready to create the perfect dough. Key ingredients, such as sugar, oils, and flour, are stored in massive silos outside the factory. Maintaining proper inventory rotation and optimal storage conditions, including controlled temperature and humidity. Careful preparation of these ingredients is vital to ensuring the quality of the cookies throughout the manufacturing process. Once the ingredients are prepared, the dough is mixed using high-capacity industrial-grade mixers designed for large-scale production. The industrial mixer is specifically designed to blend large quantities of ingredients evenly and efficiently. The dry ingredients, such as flour, sugar, salt, and baking powder, are added to the mixer. Depending on the mixer's design, these ingredients may be added gradually or all at once. Once the ingredients are in the mixer, starts its operation. After the dry ingredients are thoroughly mixed, the liquid ingredients, such as butter, eggs, and vanilla extract, are gradually added to the mixture. Adding these liquids slowly ensures even distribution and prevents the dough from becoming overly thick. The mixer continues to operate, incorporating the liquid ingredients seamlessly into the dough. Once the dough is prepared, the chocolate chips are readied for incorporation. These small pieces of chocolate are essential for adding both flavor and texture to the cookies. The chocolate chips are carefully measured, with the quantity varying based on the specific recipe and the manufacturer's preferences. Once measured, the chips are added to the dough, ensuring they are evenly distributed throughout. This step ensures every cookie is packed with the perfect amount of chocolatey goodness, contributing to the iconic taste and texture of chocolate chip cookies. The chocolate chips are gently mixed into the dough to ensure even distribution while avoiding any breakage. At this stage, the production line transitions to cookie formation. The machinery is inspected and adjusted to meet the required specifications for the desired size and shape of the chocolate chip cookies. This machine deposits precise portions of dough onto baking trays, shaping them into uniform round cookies. The forming process is finely tuned to ensure consistency in the size and thickness of each cookie. The amount of dough deposited is carefully controlled, and adequate spacing between portions is maintained to prevent sticking during baking and to allow for even expansion. Throughout the formation stage, visual inspections are conducted to identify any defects or irregularities in the cookie's shape or appearance. Any cookie that does not meet the established quality standards can be removed or adjusted manually before proceeding to the next step in the production process. Before baking, the industrial oven is preheated to the appropriate temperature, which typically ranges between 175 degrees Celsius and 190 degrees Celsius, depending on the recipe and manufacturer's specifications. The baking time generally falls between 10 and 15 minutes. During baking, the cookie dough expands while the chocolate chips melt slightly. As the cookies bake, they flatten and approximately double in diameter. Consistent monitoring of time and temperature is crucial to ensure the cookies bake evenly and do not burn. Once the cookies are fully baked, they are removed from the oven and allowed to cool on the trays for a few minutes. This cooling period helps the cookies set and prepares them for the next steps in the production process. After cooling briefly on trays, the cookies are transferred to cooling racks, where they are left to cool completely. Proper cooling ensures that the cookies harden, preserving their signature crispy exterior and soft interior. This process takes 10 to 15 minutes, allows the cookies to become firmer and develop their characteristic texture. The exact cooling time may vary depending on the size and thickness of the cookies. Before packaging, a visual inspection is conducted to assess the cookie's appearance and quality. Inspectors check for any irregularities or defects in shape, color, or texture. Cookies that fail to meet the established quality standards are discarded or repurposed. Once the quality inspection is complete, the cookies move to the packaging stage. Factories use automated packaging machines to ensure efficiency and consistency. Depending on the product and brand specifications, the cookies may be individually wrapped in plastic bags or packaged in boxes. During this process, labels or barcodes are applied to the packaging, providing important details such as the production date, expiration date, and ingredient list. From there, they are distributed to retailers, supermarkets, or distributors ready to reach consumers and bring joy to chocolate chip cookie lovers worldwide. Now, let's shift gears to this ice cream factory. It all begins with preparing the base mixture, typically consisting of milk, cream, sugar, and stabilizers. These ingredients are blended together to create a smooth and uniform mixture. For flavored ice creams, additional ingredients like vanilla, chocolate, or fruit purees are added at this stage. The mixture is then pasteurized by heating it to kill harmful bacteria, ensuring safety and extending shelf life. After pasteurization, the mixture is homogenized to break down fat molecules, creating a creamy texture. It is then rapidly cooled and aged for several hours to enhance flavor and improve its consistency. Once the base is ready, it is transferred to a freezing machine where it is churned while being rapidly cooled. This process incorporates air, giving the ice cream its light, smooth texture. At this point, mix-ins like chocolate chips, nuts, or swirls of caramel are added for variety. The partially frozen ice cream is then packaged and hardened at very low temperatures to achieve the desired firmness. Finally, it is stored and distributed ready to delight customers with its rich and refreshing taste. And here we have a chocolate bar's factory. The process of making Reese's peanut butter cups involves combining rich chocolate and creamy peanut butter to create the iconic treat. It begins with preparing the peanut butter filling. A mixture of roasted peanuts, sugar, salt, and stabilizers is blended into a creamy but slightly gritty consistency. In the production line, specially designed molds are filled with a layer of melted chocolate to create the cup's base and edges. The molds are then cooled to harden the chocolate, forming a sturdy foundation for the filling. Finally, the Reese's peanut butter cups are removed from the molds, wrapped in distinctive packaging, and subjected to quality checks. Afterward, they are boxed As we continue, let's take a look at orange juice production in factory. The process starts with selecting fresh oranges. These oranges are washed thoroughly to remove any dirt or chemicals. Next, they go through machines that squeeze out the juice, separating it from the peel and seeds. The juice is then filtered to remove any pulp if needed. To keep the juice fresh, it is pasteurized by heating it quickly and then cooling it down. After that, the juice is packed into bottles or cartons, sealed and stored in cold conditions before being sent to stores. Orange juice factories follow strict quality checks to ensure the juice is safe and tasty for everyone. Toast bread, also known as sliced bread, is made in factories using a simple and efficient process. It starts with mixing ingredients like flour, water, yeast, sugar, and salt to create dough. The dough is kneaded by machines until it becomes smooth and elastic. It is then left to rise, allowing the yeast to make the dough light and fluffy. After rising, the dough is shaped into loaves and baked in large ovens. Once baked, the loaves are cooled and then sliced into even pieces by sharp automated blades. This ensures each slice is uniform and ready for toasting. The sliced bread is then packaged. It is usually placed into plastic bags which are sealed to keep the bread fresh. Some factories also add twist ties or clips to the bags for easy opening and closing. Labels with information like the brand, ingredients, and expiration date are added before the bread is boxed and sent to stores. Toast bread is a staple in many homes, perfect for breakfast, sandwiches, or snacks. The base of every taco is the tortillas. The process of making it starts with simple ingredients: corn or wheat flour, water, and salt. These are mixed into dough, which is then kneaded until smooth. Machines roll the dough into thin sheets and cut it into perfect circles. Next, the tortillas are cooked on large hot griddles that quickly bake them on both sides. This gives them their soft texture and delicious taste. After cooking, they are cooled to prevent moisture buildup and keep them fresh. Once cooled, the tortillas are stacked, counted, and packaged by machines to ensure they stay clean and intact. Before leaving the factory, they go through quality checks to make sure they meet food safety standards. Finally, the packaged tortillas are shipped to stores and restaurants, ready to be enjoyed in tacos, burritos, and many other tasty dishes. Over 2 million tons of honey are produced around the world every year. That's the result of billions of bees working together across millions of hectares of land. But how does something as simple as flower nectar become the golden, sweet liquid we find in jars? It all begins in the fields. Worker bees leave the hive every day to collect nectar, the sweet liquid produced by flowers to attract pollinators. This nectar varies in taste, color, and texture depending on the type of flower. Bees use a long, tube-like tongue called a proboscis to suck the nectar from flowers. Once collected, the nectar is stored in a special part of the bee's body called the honey stomach, different from its regular stomach. The honey stomach holds the nectar until the bee returns to the hive. Back at the hive, the bee passes the nectar to another worker bee, which places it into the wax cells of the hive's honeycomb. It's in these hexagonal cells that the process of turning nectar into honey begins. Bees work together in an amazing way to turn nectar into honey. Inside the hive, they move the nectar between cells and expose it to the air. This helps most of the water in the nectar to evaporate. While doing this, bees add special enzymes, like invertase, that break down complex sugars, like sucrose, into simpler ones like glucose and fructose. This not only makes honey easier to digest, but also helps it last longer. As the nectar thickens and the sugar levels rise, the bees keep working until the honey reaches the right moisture level. When it's ready, they seal the honeycomb cells with a thin layer of wax. This keeps the honey fresh and stops it from fermenting. Once the honey is mature and has the right texture, beekeepers start the harvesting process. This step must be done very carefully to avoid harming the bees or damaging the hive. Honeycombs, the wax structures where honey is stored, are removed using special tools. Beekeepers handle them gently to protect the hive and the bees' environment. After being removed, the honeycombs are taken to processing centers. There, the honey is extracted and prepared for packaging. This process is important not just for ensuring good quality honey, but also for treating the bees with care and preserving their health. A single hive can produce between 15 and 30 kilograms of honey per year, depending on things like the type of flowers nearby, the weather, and the overall health of the bees. In many honey-producing countries, the number of beehives is a major factor in total production. For example, the United States has over 2.6 million beehives, while China has more than 10 million. The number of hives needed depends on how much land is farmed, the species of bees, and local climate conditions, since honey changes based on the flowers and the region it's made in. The next step in honey production is uncapping, which involves removing the wax layer that bees use to seal and protect the honey inside the comb. This wax cap, called the operculum, is carefully cut away using a special knife or a machine. This step must be done with precision to avoid damaging the honey or the wax. The wax that's removed isn't wasted. It's valuable and can be reused many times. It's often melted down and used to make other products like candles, lip balms, and skin creams, adding extra value to the beekeeping process. After uncapping, the honeycombs go through extraction. This is usually done using a machine that spins the combs at high speed. The spinning creates centrifugal force which pulls the honey out of the cells. The honey then collects in a large container. At this stage, it still contains tiny bits of wax, dust, pollen, and other small impurities. To make sure the honey is clean and ready to eat, it goes through filtering. It's passed through fine mesh or stainless steel screens that remove all the small particles without affecting the natural benefits of the honey. In some cases, honey is also pasteurized, which means it's gently heated to kill off any bacteria or yeast. This helps extend its shelf life and ensure safety. However, pasteurization can also destroy some of the natural enzymes found in raw honey. So not all honey is pasteurized, especially if it's being marketed for its raw natural properties. Once the honey is clean and ready, it's poured into jars or bottles of various sizes depending on how it will be sold. During packaging, care is taken to keep the honey from being exposed to air or outside contaminants. The containers are tightly sealed to prevent oxidation and to keep out air or microbes that could affect the honey's quality. At this stage in honey production, a filling line carefully pours the right amount of honey into containers. These containers, made of glass, plastic, or heat-resistant pouches, are moved along a conveyor belt to the sealing station. Sealing is done with great care because any mistake here could affect the honey's quality. Next comes quality control, an essential step before the honey reaches consumers. Several tests are performed to check key factors like moisture content, since too much moisture can cause fermentation. Acidity is also measured to assess freshness and overall balance. Other qualities such as flavor, texture, and appearance are examined to make sure the honey meets high standards. These tests also ensure that the honey is safe to eat and follows all health and food safety regulations. This includes checking that it's free from pesticide residues and other contaminants. Once the honey passes all checks, it's ready to be distributed to supermarkets, local stores, and markets. People enjoy honey in many ways, and its taste, color, and texture often depend on the type of flowers the bees visited. Bacon is a breakfast staple, loved for its crispiness and rich flavor. The process of making it starts with selecting high-quality pork bellies. Each piece is inspected for quality, then trimmed to the ideal size and thickness. The pork bellies go through a curing process where they're seasoned with a mixture of salt, sugar, and spices. This step not only adds flavor, but also preserves the meat, giving bacon its unique taste. The pork bellies are cooled and then sliced into thin, even strips. Automated slicers ensure each piece is the perfect thickness, whether it's thick cut or regular. The slices are then carefully packed to keep them fresh. Each package goes through quality control to ensure consistency and safety. From the ocean to the can, the process of making canned tuna involves careful handling, cooking, and preservation to deliver a delicious and safe product to consumers. It all starts at sea, where fishing vessels are equipped with modern technologies to sustainably catch tuna. Once the tuna is caught, it's stored in temperature-controlled holds to keep it fresh during transportation to the factory. Upon arrival at the factory, the tuna is immediately unloaded and sorted based on size and species. This ensures that each batch of canned tuna meets specific quality standards. Next, the tuna is cleaned to remove any scales or impurities. They are thoroughly washed to prepare them for the next stages of production. Once cleaned, the whole tuna is placed into steam chambers or large ovens to be pre-cooked. This step helps to separate the meat from the bones and makes it easier to process. The tuna is cooked at a specific temperature and time to ensure that the meat remains tender while killing any harmful bacteria. After cooking, it's removed from the ovens and cooled down. Factory workers then begin the process of deboning and filleting the fish. This step is crucial for ensuring the tuna is free from bones, skin, or any undesirable parts. Next, the filleted tuna is portioned and placed into cans. Depending on the variety, it may be packed in water, oil, or brine to enhance flavor and shelf life. The liquid not only preserves the tuna, but also keeps it moist and flavorful for consumers. Once the tuna and liquid are packed into cans where they are sealed to lock in freshness. They are then subjected to a high-temperature sterilization process to ensure they are free from bacteria and have a long shelf life. This step is critical for food safety and allows canned tuna to be stored for months without refrigeration. After the sterilization process, the cans are cooled and sent down the line for labeling. Each can is labeled with important information like the type of tuna ingredients and expiration date. Finally, the labeled cans are packed into boxes and prepared for shipment to supermarkets and stores around the world. And here, let's take a look at the production of mango juice in this factory. It begins with sourcing ripe, high-quality mangoes from farms. Upon arrival at the factory, the mangoes are thoroughly washed to remove dirt and impurities. Next, the mangoes are peeled and de-seeded by hand or using automated machines. The extracted mango pulp is then passed through a pulping machine to ensure a smooth and consistent texture. The pulp is filtered to remove any remaining fibers or impurities. The filtered pulp is blended with water, sugar, and preservatives according to the desired juice recipe. Some factories may add natural flavor enhancers or vitamins to enrich the juice. Finally, the juice is poured into sterilized bottles, sealed, labeled, and packaged for distribution. This ensures a refreshing, safe product for consumers worldwide. And here we have a lollipop factory that show how this sweet and colorful treats are manufactured. It all starts with a blend of the main ingredients, sugar, water, and corn syrup, that give lollipops their sweet and chewy texture. The ingredients are mixed in large kettles and heated until the mixture reaches extremely high temperatures. After the flavoring, the hot candy mixture is poured onto cooling tables where it begins to set. Once the candy is ready, it's fed through machines that portion it into individual lollipop shapes. These machines cut the candy into precise pieces and press sticks into each one. The candy quickly cools and hardens, securing the stick in place. After the lollipops are fully set, they move on to the wrapping station. Automated wrapping machines package each lollipop in colorful, protective wrappers. Finally, each lollipop passes through a quality control check, where the perfect lollipops are boxed and prepared for distribution to stores ready to be enjoyed. While there are many great donuts out there, today I'll be focusing on the process of making Krispy Kreme donut in factory. Krispy Kreme typically makes donuts twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening, though each store might do it a little differently. First, the ingredients for the dough arrive at each Krispy Kreme factory in large bags. The dough is mixed with water and yeast, and its temperature is carefully regulated during the process. Once mixed, the dough is transferred into a hopper where it rests for about 10 minutes. A crane then moves the hopper over the extruder, which shapes the dough into rings using air pressure. No need to cut a hole. The extruder shapes the dough into a perfect ring from the start. Next, the donuts rise in a proofer, a large box that slowly moves the donuts on a conveyor belt for about 30 minutes. Inside, hot and humid air activates the yeast, causing the donuts to expand. Once they've risen, they're ready to be fried. The fryer is filled with hot vegetable shortening, where the donuts are cooked for about 45 seconds on each side. After frying, they are given time to cool before reaching the glaze waterfall. The glaze, whose recipe is a closely guarded secret, coats the donuts evenly before any excess glaze is recycled for the next batch. Once glazed, the donuts travel through the cooling tunnel to ensure the glaze fully hardens before being boxed or placed on trays for sale. Glazed donut is the most popular, but the company also makes many other varieties. Some donuts are dipped in colored icing or sprinkles after they cool, while others, like sugar donuts, skip the glaze altogether. Filled donuts, which don't have holes, are filled with special fillings by hand. The extruder can also be adjusted to create different shapes for special occasions. While the machine handles much of the process, skilled workers are essential. They monitor the machines, adjust settings, and even have an emergency stop button for safety. Above the fryer, a fire suppression system is in place in case of an emergency. Krispy Kreme produces around 20 million donuts per day globally, with an annual production of over 7 billion donuts. Their most famous product is the original glazed donut, and they operate in more than 30 countries, supplying both retail locations and various stores and supermarkets. And here we have a beef sausages factory. The production of sausages starts with selecting the finest cuts of meat. The meat is then trimmed of excess fat and diced into small pieces. Next, the meat is fed into a grinding machine, where it is minced to the desired consistency. This step is crucial in ensuring that the sausage has a smooth and even texture. Once the meat is minced, it is time to add seasonings and spices. This is where the magic happens, as the blend of spices gives each type of sausage its unique flavor profile. Ingredients such as salt, pepper, garlic, and paprika are commonly used to enhance the taste. Meanwhile, natural casings made from the intestines of animals are prepared for filling. These casings are flexible and allow the sausage to retain its shape while cooking. The seasoned meat mixture is then fed into a sausage stuffing machine, which fills the casings with the meat mixture. The machine ensures that the sausages are evenly filled and properly sealed. After the sausages are filled, they are linked together to form long chains. This process helps in portioning the sausages and makes them easier to handle during cooking. Some sausages are then smoked to enhance their flavor. They are hung on racks in a smoking room, where they are exposed to a controlled amount of smoke for a specific period of time. This adds a rich, smoky flavor to the sausages. Finally, the sausages are ready for packaging. They are either vacuum sealed for freshness or placed in trays for display. The packaging ensures that the sausages remain fresh and flavorful until they reach the consumer's plate. Tabasco's hot sauce has been adding flavor and heat to dishes for over 150 years. The process of making it starts with the Tabasco pepper, which is grown right here on Avery Island. These peppers are carefully handpicked when they reach their peak ripeness, vibrant red and full of flavor. To ensure the perfect ripeness, workers use a tool called le petit bâton rouge, a small red stick that matches the color of the ideal pepe. If the pepper matches the stick, it's ready to be picked. Once harvested, the peppers are brought to the factory where they're immediately processed into what's called pepper mash. The peppers are crushed and combined with salt, also sourced from the salt mines of Avery Island. This salt not only acts as a preservative, but also enhances the flavor. The pepper mash is then placed into oak barrels, where it begins a crucial part of the Tabasco sauce-making process: fermentation. One of the secrets to Tabasco's signature taste is time. These barrels of pepper mash are aged for up to 3 years. During this time, the flavors develop and mature, creating the complex heat and depth that Tabasco sauce is known for. The barrels are sealed with a thick layer of Avery Island salt, which acts as a natural barrier, protecting the mash while allowing the flavors to slowly develop. After fermentation, the aged mash is removed from the barrels and transferred to large stainless steel vats. After aging, the pepper mash is transferred to vats where it's blended with high-quality vinegar. This is where the mash begins to transform into the Tabasco sauce we all know and love. The vinegar helps mellow the intense heat of the peppers while adding a tangy kick, perfectly balancing the sauce. The mash and vinegar are blended and left to sit for several weeks, allowing the flavors to meld together. Once the mash has been fully combined with the vinegar, it's strained to remove any skins or seeds, resulting in a smooth, fiery sauce. This step ensures that each bottle of Tabasco has the perfect texture. Next comes the bottling process. The smooth Tabasco sauce is poured into the iconic glass bottles, sealed with the green-capped lids and labeled for distribution. Every day, the factory produces thousands of bottles of Tabasco sauce, ready to be shipped to over 195 countries around the world. Before any bottle leaves the factory, it undergoes rigorous quality control checks. Every batch is tested to ensure it meets the high standards set by the McElhenney family, who've been producing Tabasco sauce for generations. Once bottled and inspected, the Tabasco sauce is packed into boxes and shipped to restaurants and grocery stores across the globe.